Hello, everyone. As she said, my name is Jeff Poole, and I'm going to talk a little bit about improv and happy accidents. Oh, that's the wrong way to look at it. So in improv, there is no such thing as a mistake, only a happy accident. And let me tell you a little bit about my happy accident. I worked at the Second City for the last 13 years. So I have written articles for the Tribune, I have assistant-directed shows, and for the last 3 years, I've had the joy of being the head of the Kid and Teen program. It's an amazing job. I enjoy what I do. Every day I get up and go into a place that I know is going to be fun. I get greeted with things like this. Go! That's my friend Jagger. He's 5. We hang out a lot. But this wasn't always the case. In 2003, I was living in Rome with my wife. I was planning to go to law school. I was taking the LSAT. I had thought I had graduated from the University of Arkansas. Turns out, I hadn't. I got a call from the school and they said that I had dropped a geology lab class my sophomore year. I hadn't graduated. So I talked to my mom and she decided I'd go back and take a couple of classes. I took the geology lab, an intro to drama, and a stand-up comedy class. I really started to get into comedy. I was surfing the internet at night, and I found a theater where you could take online writing classes from wherever you were. And that place? The Second City Training Center. So a little rundown on what is the Second City. The Second City is North America's oldest continuously running comedy theater. We've been doing comedy in the same location for over 55 years. And you've heard of the many, many alumni who have gone on to be famous from the Second City. But what you don't know is we have alumni in all fields, whether it be entertainment, arts, media. The former CEO of Twitter, Dick Costello, he took classes at Second City. Because there's one thing you can know is improv can help everyone. So I decided I was going to go to Second City. And I got all excited and I packed everything I had and I moved from Arkansas to Chicago. And guess what? It went horribly. I was bad. Bad at improv. I talked all the time. I didn't listen, right? I remember we were doing an exercise and there was a guy on stage and we were doing impressions of each other in the class. And there's a guy on stage going, funny words, I talk all the time and I never listen. Funny words. And I laughed and I looked to the left and that person was looking at me. And I looked to the right and that person was looking at me. And I realized he was doing an impression of me. Yeah, but I don't listen, right? And you would think, boom, a light switch would go off, and that would make me a great improviser. It didn't. It didn't at all. It took a while. And really what helped me become a great improviser was watching kids. When I would watch the kids improvise, I would notice that that angry kid who would yell at his scene partner would often yell at a counselor or another kid at break or at lunch. And in the adult writing classes that I taught, I noticed that the students who were getting angry at the notes and would write really angry scenes, they were kind of angry people. And it clicked with me. If you're good at improv, you're good at life. Notice, I did not say, if you're funny at improv, you're funny at life. Very separate. If you're good at improv, you're good at life. And the reason? Improv is listening. Improv is saying yes. Improv is agreement. Right? So it struck me. I started to really get into the idea of being good at improv. I stopped being this guy.
Around here, Oscar is known as actually, because he will insert himself into just about any conversation to add facts or grammar.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to be. But let me tell you, once I started realizing that failure was a great thing, that's where I could learn, that's when I really started taking off. That's when the fear of failure went away. Because one of two things will happen if you study long enough at the Second City, right? One, you get so good at failing, or you get so good you never fail, right? You're Tina Fey, you're Stephen Colbert, you're Steve Carell's. Or, two, you get so good at failing you never care. And let me tell you, as somebody who lives in category number 2, it's an amazing place to be. It's a fearless world when you go into it. So what happened, I realized what happened to me was I started failing a lot less because all of the things I learned at Second City. So I thought, what were these things that I've learned? What are these factors that I've learned? Number 1, listen. You always hear yes and, right? The Second City mantra is yes and that's true, but how do you know what the yes and if you're not listening, right? I like to talk about great ideas. Everyone in this room probably has a great idea. You have a great idea, you have a great idea. But when those great ideas get together, boom, the super idea. Right? Think about it this way. She loves chicken soup. He loves sausage. You like something spicy. Those are all cool. Put them together, you got gumbo. And that's what makes collaboration so amazing. That's the thing that comes together, right? Boom. Number 2, care. I teach high school kids. I teach these high school kids. And I tell them all the time, you've got to care, right? High school improv, this is my impression of high school improv. Hey, your dog died. Whatever. I don't care. Hey, your girlfriend broke up with you. Whatever. I don't care. Hey, a meteor is going to strike the earth, killing all life as we know it. Whatever. I don't care. You have to care, right? I tell my kids all the time, I don't care what you care, just care. I don't care how you feel, just feel, right? You gotta care. The other thing is cooperation. You ever go on a canoe trip? What happens if everybody rows the canoe together? We go pretty well, right? What happens when your brother Brent refuses to row the same way as everyone else? The canoe just goes in circles, right? Part of caring is caring about each other and caring about the group. Number 3, be nice. This is the rule I live by right here. WWTHD. What would Tom Hanks do? Tom Hanks came to the Second City and I met him. He was just as nice and as cool as you think he was. He listened more than he talked, and he actually cared about people. That's amazing, right? My college professor told me this story that I really love. It's about a guy who was a writer in Hollywood, and he'd been working on this spec script, a pilot for a show for many, many years, and he had it exactly as he wanted it, but nobody was willing to read it. Nobody would read it. And finally, his agent got a call. The new president of NBC was going to read his script. He was so excited. He went in, he was all excited. He put the script down on the table, and she looked at him and said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "No." And she said, "I was a writing assistant on Hill Street Blues, and you once dumped a cup of coffee on my new shoes because you said it was too cold. For lunches, you used to make me go to the deli 2 miles up Santa Monica Boulevard because you said the one across the street, the mayo smelled weird." He looked at her and he said, "You're not going to read my spec script, are you?" "No, I am not." A good rule of thumb is it's a lot easier to get to the top if you're not pouring coffee on people's feet on the way up. So, number 4, try things. You've got to try things. Not drugs, kids. Drugs are bad. But try safe things. Try yoga. Go emo for a while. Join the band. Sing in the choir. You never know what thing you might find out you love, right? One of my favorite students, I had a student when she was 13. We were going to play a singing game. She refused to sing. She was scared to death. Now she's 17 years old and she's the leader of the show choir at her school. Because we forced her to try this, right? One of the rules in Second City is we try everything. A right to fail, not to bail. Don't be too cool to have fun. Susan Messing, who's a great improviser, she always says, if everyone's on stage is having fun and you're not, that's because you're a butthole. Don't be the butthole. I can't encourage you more. It takes a special person to stand arms crossed and watch other people having fun. Don't be that person. Number 6, make the choice to be positive every day. My friend Terrence Carey, T-Baby, he told me I get up every morning and I make a choice to be positive. It's not something that naturally comes to me. It's something I decide to do every single day. That's what you should do. It's not something that just comes naturally to everyone. Sometimes you have to make that choice. So in conclusion, I would just like to say this. I've been at the Second City for a long time. 13 years, over 100 shows, about 10,000 hours in that building. And the thing I've learned more than anything is this. It's not about being funny. It's about connecting. Connecting with people, connecting with your partner, connecting with your ensemble, connecting with your audience, connecting with your universe. And always be on the lookout for your happy accident. Thank you.